Last night's loss to the Clippers was the second largest postseason upset in the last 20 years. KD did his part, though, with a playoff career-high 45 points, while the other four starters combined for just 59 points. The Warriors stars talked about this loss after the game. Listen to this here, because you got some words to hear.
The Clippers played well tonight, and we understood exactly. We've been in this situation plenty of times where we know how hard it is to close a series out. And at the end of the day, as bad as we played in the first half, we were up 1 with 2.5 minutes left. So,
do you feel like you overlooked this sort of Game 5 and look ahead to the Rockets at all?
I haven't talked to my teammates about the Rockets, so I don't know. I know I'm not thinking about the future. Just thinking about the game, and I feel like everybody has that mindset, but I can't tell you for sure what they're thinking.
All right, so a little bit earlier in the show, Max, you said you're not yet worried about this Warriors bunch, but Stephen A., you've moved from a real certainty to now very concerned. If I had to say, what player are you focusing those concerns on? Who are you most worried about?
I'm going to worry about Steph Curry from the standpoint of getting in foul trouble a couple of times this series. Obviously, it's something that he had a conversation with Steve Kerr about, because Steve Kerr had to remind him, look, man, let him score. You know, you never thought you'd hear those words from Steve Kerr, who obviously pays attention to defense, but he was telling Steph Curry, you're far more important for us being on the floor without being in foul trouble. He only had 2 fouls last night, but the previous games he had at least 4 fouls. One game, I think it was game 3, he had 5 fouls. And obviously you looked at other guys and looking for them to give a contribution, because they have to step up, because as Max has pointed out on numerous occasions, without Steph Curry on the floor, you're compromised to some degree, because just his presence on the floor alone makes him that potent of a threat. But I use that because I look at it as a microcosm of what's really going on with this team. I'm not worried about them offensively. They always figure things out offensively. Defensively, sometimes, and this is what people have to understand about this sport of basketball. Sometimes it's not just about circumstances, it's not just about personalities. When you are elite offensively, you don't necessarily prioritize defense in most instances, because you know you can outscore most people that you're going to go up against. You know you can amp it up, you can turn it up a notch. When we think about the greatness of MJ, when we think about the greatness of the Kobes of the world and others, they didn't do that. They showed up on both ends of the floor during the prime times of their career. And so when you look at and you see an elite team, but you're outscoring opponents. If an opponent feels like they can drop 120, or in last night's case, 129 against you, it's a problem, because it elevates their level of confidence and emboldens them, and their mentality is just getting a stop here and there. That's all we got to worry about, because we don't have to worry about being stopped by these guys. It's important that the Warriors send a message. It's not just about winning. You've got to get in lockdown mode. When Patrick Beverley is dropping 5 3-pointers, and Lou Williams can't be stopped, and Montrezl Harrell can't be stopped, what you think James Harden and the boys are thinking about? That's what you got to be mindful of.
There are 2 players to be mindful of for the Warriors. One is on the team, one isn't. The guy on the team is Kevin Durant. The guy who's not is James Harden, for the reason you just pointed out. But it's not Kevin Durant, the man. It's the player. It's everyone else who Kevin Durant is affecting. What is defense really about, Stephen A? Communication, effort, playing for each other. This team knows KD's got 1 foot out the door. Now think about how this Warriors team was built. Steph Curry, the engine. Klay Thompson, you always praise Mark Jackson for the way he kind of brought them along, and he did. He said, I believe in these guys. They're going to be the best shooting backcourt ever.
Foundation.
They brought in Iguodala. Iguodala has been the most underrated member of this championship dynasty. It is ridiculous. He was the finals MVP. I mean, LeBron deserved that finals MVP, fine. But Iguodala's defense on LeBron made him finals MVP. He doesn't complain about not getting the ball. He was once the #1 option on a team, right? He shouldn't have been, but okay. He doesn't complain about not getting the ball. These guys, Draymond Green, these guys came up together, added Iguodala, played the right way, all that stuff. Now they add KD. He's a mercenary. He's got, these other guys don't have 1 foot out the door. KD's got one foot out the door. And it's affecting all year the chemistry on this team.
I think that is incredibly unfair to KD. And here's why. This ain't some rookie squad. These brothers ain't wet behind the ears, breath smelling like Similac. These brothers have been, they've been to the finals 4 straight years. They've won 3. Don't get me started with that damn stimulus package that was given to LeBron James by the NBA when they suspended Draymond Green. And last year you brought up Houston and CP3's injury. Let's not forget Iguodala was injured during that series. But that's beside the point. Let's keep this clear. We're sitting here talking about the Warriors today because they lost Game 5 last night, which they should have won. And defensively, what they didn't do. Kevin Durant dropped 45.
That's why I said it's not him, it's the effect on the team.
But what I'm saying is not as that. He played defense. These are the experienced dudes.
Hold on, Max.
They're experienced.
Wait, let me just... I'm not arguing that KD's not great. I'm talking about the way the team isn't playing for each other.
And here's the difference.
Here's the difference with the Rockets. Lou Williams showed you what an unstoppable ISO scorer on a team that is playing for each other can do. This Rockets team came this close last year without CP3, but now they got CP3. If Harden gets over the yips in the playoffs, they're going to beat the Warriors.
Hold on, Max. I've been listening to you. I heard what you just said. You just said that this defensive effort, this lack of effort, is partially responsible to KD or attributed to KD having one foot out the door. Stephen A., look, whatever happened last night, is it arrogant? Is it looking ahead to the Rockets? What I think is fascinating is here, what you're describing could be temporary. That could be gotten over. That could be fixed in the next game.
That's right.
What you're describing isn't going away. That's going to be present through the entire playoffs.
But still, they're going to get out of the West at least if Harden keeps choking. Because that's another issue that the Rockets have. Harden's got to get over that. Harden's got to get over the Clayton Kershaw. He's got to get over the Clayton Kershaw. That's how it is.
Look,
you know what's funny? You know what's funny?
Hold on, Max. Because I understand what your point is. My point to you is this, just to crystallize the difference with Max and I. Max, if James Harden isn't hitting threes, Max is going to hold it against him. Here's my point. Even though I understand what you're saying, he has to hit shots in order for them to beat the Warriors. What I'm saying is I'm not going to accuse James Harden of choking if he drops 32, but he hits a high percentage shot from twos, but he's just missing his threes. Now, you choking if if you don't shoot against San Antonio like you didn't do a few years ago, where I put an APB out for that imposter. I didn't know who the hell that was, but not last year.
You ain't going to beat Golden State counting by twos. This is math.
I agree with that.
So don't go 2 for 13. And let me say one thing real quick. When I bring up Clayton Kershaw, I bring up Peyton Manning, I bring up James Harden. Understand, to be the biggest choker, you must be an all-time great player. And the question is, you're all-time great every other time, but when it matters most, suddenly you're not. It gives me no pleasure to say that about Peyton Manning or Clayton Kershaw or James Harden. But that's the way it is. That's just the way it is. And if Harden can get over that, and he's giving signs, like it looks like he's getting more comfortable under pressure. I'm telling you right now, they're taking out Golden State.
There's a whole bunch of ifs in that argument. If I go to Hair Club for Men, my hairline will be 3 feet forward. I mean, what the hell is that? There's a whole bunch of ifs. What does it mean? The bottom line is that you either believe it or you don't. I still believe in the Warriors.
All right. I believe in your hairline. Coming up, first take. Which one of these guys think the Giants might be the best fit for Dwayne Haskins? Plus, what is LeBron calling fake news? You don't want to miss what Max and Stephen A's reaction is to the Kings' latest social media post.